The best season of the racing calendar continues on tonight as we bring you action from the World Center of Racing, the center of oval racing, until the next few weeks are elapsed for high gear racing. Action tonight from Daytona in the Gen-7 race car. We wish you good evening and welcome inside the broadcast booth before tonight's production of High Gear Racing. You're watching PGR eSports Live. My name is Dawson Wise, and I'll be taking you through all of the action over the next couple of hours as we put together another Gen-7 race leading into what is an incredible couple weeks of racing coming up. We'll have all of that for you throughout the night tonight, getting you prepped for the rest of Daytona season. Speed weeks, if you will, for the Money Racing calendar are on tap now. We're in that period now, within 2 to 3 weeks of the Great American Sim Race, the PGR 500. Multiple drivers have run 500 miles already in several different promotions. There are multiple other 500-mile events coming up between now and then. A lot to cover, a lot to get through. Let's get right to it. It's time to put cars on the grid for the first time tonight at Daytona for high gear racing. It's a pretty good field tonight. Just short of 20 drivers have made the trip to virtual Daytona for this one tonight from the World Center of Racing. Let's find out how they'll start. And on pole for high gear racing from Daytona, about a 50.325 second lap for the 15 of Corey Wright. He'll be the 4 on the side of the car, the 15 on your timing and scoring in that Toyota Camry. To his outside, it'll be Justin Melikar, car number 3 on your timing and scoring, car number 84 on the side of that purple and white Midnight Racing League Chevy Camaro. Row 2, familiar face, it's Trevor Osbornoth of the Jack Shack. 4 1,000s off the pole time. He'll go from the inside of row 2 in car number 89. To his outside, it's the captain of Dega Pros. It's John Ward. New colors tonight for John Ward. As compared to what we're used to, he'll be in red, white, and blue aboard the Valvoline Chevrolet in tonight's race. Row 3, James Waring in the 13 machine will go from position number 5. Alongside him, it's the boss man from McCullough Motorsports. It's Kenny McCullough Jr. He'll go from the 6th position. Row 4, Josh McCullough, another McCullough entry in the 05. And alongside him, another one in Richard Elliott in car 02. On row 5, it's Dustin Cowan in the 020, and alongside him, it's William Haley, car 401 on the timing and scoring. Both those cars likely sporting different numbers on their paint schemes. Row 6 going to be Nathan Harper, the familiar number 4 machine tonight. Alongside him, it's Dylan Jones in the 011, the all-white Mustang. Row 7, D3, Daniel Eberhardt in car number 90. He'll go from 13th to be Matthew Patton in the 11 tonight from 14th, likely a different number on his car as well. Row 8, William H. Scott Jr., and Matt Metler, one of my fellow broadcasters, coming out for another appearance tonight. He'll go from 16th. That's row 8. Final row on the field, row 9. Mark Vondell will start from 17th. So a fun 50 laps of action is on tap tonight from Daytona. And again, it's a busy season of racing. We all know what's coming up in a couple weeks. The PGR 500 will steal most of the spotlight, I would think, amongst the drivers, but still a lot to be done until then to prep for that race, and that's why you see so many promotions running Gen-7 races at Daytona to get drivers prepared for that race in a couple of weeks. You'll see a couple paint schemes tonight that will be sported in the 500-mile event coming up in a couple of weeks. A couple guys getting their paint schemes dialed in, as well as finding some confidence heading in to the biggest week of the PGR calendar coming up February 2nd through the 8th. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the lead up to it as well. Bit of a different calendar specifically this week. And in terms of the recruitment races and when those will be, we'll tell you a little bit more about that, what's coming up for the Thursday night series. Again, all headed in to the February 2nd through the 8th deadline for the PGR 500. You still have time to register. It's PGResports.com. If you want to put your name in against some of these guys in the field tonight, many of them have already entered into that race looking to find a step of momentum. You got to start somewhere. Last year, it was Daniel Falkingham on a heater into the PGR 500 that got him to victory lane. Someone could start that case tonight in this one from Daytona. 17 cars have made the trip. It's high gear racing action tonight from Daytona. You're watching it all live on PGR eSports. Corey Wright, Justin Melikar bring the field into the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We're racing from Daytona. Or so we thought. Let's try this again. Drivers will re-rack, restack, and allow Mark Vondell to join the tail end of the field. Vondell missing the grid, so we'll give him a lap. While they do so, I caught a quick sound error that we're going to go fix really quickly. We'll be back for the start. It's PGR eSports coverage of high gear racing action from Daytona. You won't miss a thing. We'll be right back for the start. And a bit of an unorthodox start to this one as we're going to get it started halfway down the Daytona Superstretch. The field already taking lap 1. The green flag is in the air. We're underway. And as is tradition, it will give them a full lap for you to enjoy the sounds coming off these Gen 7 race cars. We're underway from Daytona. How about it for one of the primary bosses over at the Midnight Racing League, Justin Melikar, an early start for him. Corey Wright, a familiar face for him, is in line with him as well. They're going to combine the lead lap number 1 officially, under green anyway, lap 2 on the score sheet. As off turn number 2, guess who? It's John Ward. It's the captain for Dega Pros, pushed by a familiar face, a former teammate, and Kenny McCullough Jr., a long time ago, a pair of teammates on McCullough Motorsports. They work together there. It gets Ward to the point in turns 3 and 4 as he'll go in front of Melikar. A lot of conservatism out back. Not a lot of guys wanting to get up here and race early on in the going. So far, anyway, one car has lost the draft. That is Dustin Cowan. So 16 in the lead draft. Back to William H. Scott Jr. in the Bucky Chevrolet right behind Mark Vondell. Single file most of the way through this lead group so far. The outside tried to get it going with Matt Patton and Kenny McCullough and a couple of others, but they have all bailed, and much in the same vein as the Jimmy Crow Senior 250 last week, these guys are also going to drop down along the double yellow line, and, well, for a moment they were going to fuel save. I think Matt Patton has other ideas. How about Patton on the outside? Matt Patton, the Cinderella story from the March Madness tournament last year for PGR eSports. A guy who continues to get better, I think, every time we see him on the racetrack. He made a big move right there to try to get up and around some of the stack-ups in front of him. It did not pan out. Nobody went with him. He's going to drop back to around the 5th position, make it the 6th position where he drops in line. As John Ward continues to lead it. In front of Melikar Wright, Oswernoth. And once again, Patton making another effort at it. Now he's got some help. It's a familiar face in D3. Daniel Eberhardt, he's coming to the front. Matt Mettler wants a piece of that as well. And a bit of a new look for him, black, red, and teal aboard that 31. Here comes the outside. They got a monster run. Patton's going to go all the way from 6 to the lead on the push from Eberhardt. He'll take the 90 to the front with him. Mettler trying everything he can to get clear. John Ward's going to cut him a break as Mettler, Eberhardt, and Patton all get down, and it's a shake-up here at the front of the field. Only 5 laps into this one. And you got to imagine pit strategy has something to do with this. As coming into tonight, 100% fuel into the car means there will be a pit stop, but you want to maximize this first run, get as much out of it as you can so you can take a little bit less on that only pit stop of the night. Try to minimize your time in your pit box. Matt Patton, Daniel Eberhardt, Matt Mettler, and Patton, as soon as he got to the front, is going to go to the wall. Again, strategy, you got to imagine, has something to do with this. He will tuck in towards the back. He's going to continue to work backwards. 44 to go, lap 7 on the board. Eberhardt, man, you wonder if he thought about doing the same thing there off the tri-oval and down towards turn 1, but jumps back in line in front of Matt Mettler. So now it's Eberhardt, Mettler, Ward, Melikar, and Wright, your top 5. As Patton goes all the way to the tail end of the line, he'll tuck in behind Mark Vondell in the 15th position. Rather behind Mark Vondell. In front of William H. Scott Jr. So Eberhardt leads the way. Look at these gaps left here as the field works through turns 3 and 4. You see that big gap behind John Ward. Ward is leaving a big gap now because Mettler has disappeared. Mettler's going to have to bail to the apron here. A connection issue for Matt Mettler is going to force him to drop well towards the tail end of this lead pack, but good on he and John Ward to avoid any kind of unnecessary contact. They're both scrambling out of harm's way. Mettler will tuck in actually well behind the pack. He's going to lose the draft in car number 31, so he will now need a caution, as will Dustin Cowan in the 0-2-0. Down the Daytona Superstretch, still single file again. Shades of last week's 250-miler from Talladega. If you caught that one, myself and Michael Triscaro. Logan Helton getting the job done. In the Jimmy Crowe Sr. 250, a special win for Helton last week, as he got to honor a man and a family that he knows very well. Really fitting for Helton. Kind of one of the guys that came around with the Crowe family and their rise in super speedway racing. Helton kind of saw his rise happen at the same time, and what a fitting way for that race to end. A fitting winner of that race was Logan Helton. Eberhardt, Ward, Mettler continue to work up the racetrack. Mettler leaving a huge gap here. It's about 4 car lengths between he and John Ward. You see that gap here in turns 3 and 4. Everybody in the pack saving a little bit of gas, potentially trying to make it a shorter pit stop on pit road. There is something to that. Essentially what they're probably trying to do here, other than just minimize the amount of fuel they have to take, is they're trying to get it down to a number where they only have to have 1 can of fuel in the car. Oftentimes in NASCAR, if you watch the pit stops, you'll see 2 cans go into the car on a full pit stop. So if you're taking a full tank of fuel, you'll see them have to kind of switch cans in the middle of a pit stop. It applies the same on the iRacing service, where sometimes you will pit and you will need so much fuel they'll have to essentially take the can out and put a second can in, and it adds to your time on pit road. And what these guys could be doing is trying to back it down enough that they only have to take 1, which significantly reduces the time you consume in your pit box. It's the only thing I can think that these guys are trying to do. I can't imagine you can make it 50 laps on 1 tank, even with a 100% fuel load tonight. Tell you what, an interesting thing I'm seeing from Daniel Eberhardt, and it's going to draw a few guys up the racetrack here. He is moving a couple of lanes up on the back straightaway and dropping back down in the corner. I'm not exactly sure what the purpose of that is, but he does it over here on this end of the racetrack as well, here off turn 4. You see him way up the racetrack. He's above that seam that's in the upper half of the racetrack. Waring and Patton got caught. Now Eberhardt's actually going to give up the lead. Ward's going to jump to his inside as Eberhardt jumps up to pick up Waring and Patton. Really interesting decisions here from Daniel Eberhardt as he continued to work up the racetrack. He'll do it again. Off turn 2, he'll go back to the lead and back down in front of John Ward. And now back up again in front of Waring. Eberhardt playing a little bit of Pied Piper here early. And it's not going to pay off for him here off turn 4. Here comes Waring. He wants the lead. He'll get the lead. Eberhardt drops in second. Patton, again, the lone man in the top lane, but Mettler is going to cut him a break. Now the lone man in the top lane is William Haley, who gained a few spots in that stack up. So he'll work back towards the tail end of the field. Again, the entire field single file. Only 50 laps in this one. We're already more than a quarter of the way into it. Already lap 13. Just past 9:15 on the East Coast. So Waring continuing to lead the way. Eberhardt, Ward, Patton, and Melikar, the top 5. Still all but 2 cars are with the lead draft. That would be 15 of 17. The only 2 that are not, Matt Mettler and Dustin Cowan, who have both lost the draft. Tell you one car that needs to pick it up. That's the 89 of Trevor Osbornoff. They're going to be in a dangerous position here. If they don't pick the speed up just a little bit, they will. Dustin Cowan's going to go 1 lap down. You see him there on the outside, the Home Depot Chevy. He'll go a lap down to the leaders. Eberhardt again spikes it out to the wall. Patton thought about going with him, but Eberhardt's going the wrong way and actually lifted way out of it. Look at this. Backing way off is Daniel Eberhardt. He's going to have to find a spot at the tail end of the field. He will, but there is some crazy fuel saving going on right now. Not going to see this in a couple weeks. The PGR 500, I can tell you that much. Shorter race distances in those heat races, especially. In the dual races, you might. But in the heats and the LCQs and the pole shootout race, I can tell you for sure, they're not going to be fuel saving like this. And that is February 2nd through the 8th. That's what we're building to. Is the 2nd annual Great American Sim Race. The 2026 PGR 500 coming up in just a couple weeks from now is when we'll be starting. In fact, 2 weeks from last night will be the first 2 heat races of the event. We're already inside the 14-day mark. Before we get that event started, it's going to be all week long, Monday through Sunday. Heat racing Monday through Friday, concluding with the 12th and final preliminary heat race on Friday evening. So a total of 12 heat races, potential of 25 drivers in each for a max capacity of 300 entries. And again, those will begin 2 weeks from now on Monday the 2nd of February. We'll do 12 preliminary heats. From there, the fields will be set for the duels on Saturday evening and the LCQs on Saturday afternoon. It'll be a similar format once we get to Saturday. The rest of the week is drawn out a little bit more, bigger number, and just drawing out the event just a little bit more. It'll be a full week of racing. But those 12 heats will set the field for Saturday's LCQs and duels. Something new this year is the pole shootout race on Friday night after the final heat. The top 2 from each of the 12 heats are going to race in a 24-car event for the pole of the PGR 500 to see what the front row will be. That's how we're going to lock in the front row for Sunday afternoon. And rather than it only be on time, it is going to be decided in the best way we know how, and that's with a race. Of course, Saturdays, the LCQs and the duels, the last chance for drivers to get in to the PGR 500. And then Sunday, once the field is whittled down to 40, we'll go racing for 200 laps, 500 miles for only the 2nd time in PGR eSports history. You saw William H. Scott Jr. go a lap down to the field right there in the 7. He lost the draft a little bit ago. Dustin Cowan, who went a lap down, as of now is the only car lap down the field. Will be catching Matt Mettler here shortly, but Cowan has tagged onto the lead draft. That could be important should a caution come out later. Front grouping has been mostly the same since Matt Patton got in line, 3rd in line on the inside, right behind John Ward. Again, when Melikar cut him a break several laps ago. Waring, Ward, Patton, Melikar are your top 4. Believe we're going to see all 4 of these individuals in a couple weeks. Most of the field that's in this race is going to be racing in a couple weeks. About 10 car lengths back of the leaders. Here's the first real move. Daniel Eberhardt, Dylan Jones, Nathan Harper have jumped out. Matt Patton, not sure if he saw it coming. No, he's going the other way. is the 3 machine of Patton. He'll go backwards here. And big run coming from Eberhardt and company. Let's see how they handle it. They'll go 3 wide up around Matt Patton. As Waring continues to lead the way. Mettler going to go a lap down there to the leaders. As they will bypass him. 14 cars left on the lead lap back to Mark Vondel. They're all in the lead draft. We'll see if Mettler can hang on to it or not. Here comes the train on the outside. With not much pushing up front. It's basically free reign to get up front now. Eberhardt has to get out of it. Got a little bit loose there in turns 1 and 2. Not sure if he got some net code. He has to get out of the throttle and jump back in line behind Patton. The train continues on forward, and it's going to get all the way to the point. Dylan Jones, the familiar all-white Mustang, he'll go to the point. Nathan Harper will go to second. Matt Patton will go to third. Jones down. Harper stays up with Patton, and Nathan Harper will lead now off turn 4. Harper, a multiple-time PGR winner, looking for an HGR win tonight at Daytona as they'll cross the line. He and Patton go 1-2, and Dylan Jones is backing up. Similar to what Eberhardt did earlier, Jones is going backwards. 22 on the board. We're getting awfully close to that first and what I anticipate to be the only pit stop of the night. We're getting awfully close to that number. Almost halfway. 3 laps away from the halfway point. And it has been clean and green so far. Mettler did catch the end of the draft, so Cowan and Mettler both caught the end of the draft. William H. Scott Jr. did not. So it's 2 cars racing for the lucky dog position. Boy, I tell you, we're going to be done with this race by 10 o'clock if we continue on this pace right here. As Harper continues to lead and the field continues to tick off laps over and over and over again. The field continues to tick off laps. And right as I say that, pit stops. And so this will not be the only pit stop unless this group trouble. Richard Elliott got sideways getting onto pit road. He got on the brakes. The car snapped from under him, and he will lose a ton of time and will lose this group. This group, by the way, Harper, Ward, McCullough Jr., Waring, Patton, and Elliott is the entire group. Only 5 of those cars will likely come out together. With them coming down on lap 24 tells me one of 2 things. Number 1, they either can't make it all the way, but more likely, number 2, they are short pitting when the window opened, which is about what I figured. 35 to 37 laps is the range in this Gen-7 car. Trouble around goes Cowan. Right, gets into the back of Dustin Cowan and scratch out the strategy for Richard Elliott, Harper, Patton, and company. It's going to work out for them as they're going to cycle to the lead. We saw this one happen live. We'll go back and take a couple looks anyway, but I mean, we saw this one happen pretty clearly. Let's actually back it up a little bit because that was not the first bout of contact between these 2 cars. As they worked over into turn 3, watch Corey Wright on the back of Dustin Cowan. Cowan getting up to Mellicar. He gets a little bit up the racetrack. Corey Wright's going to get him once right about here. See him kind of following him up. He gets him a little bit out of shape there. And then as Cowan is trying to correct Wright, whether he's getting driven through from behind or not, he perhaps was getting hit from behind by Trevor Oswernoth. And around goes Cowan. Wright is able to keep his car out of the wall. Dustin Cowan, unfortunately, not quite as lucky in this one. Kind of curious to see if perhaps there was some contact from behind on Corey Wright from Trevor Oswernoth. You wonder if they were pushing the pace just a little bit. This group knows that group just short pit. They got to push pace to keep up. Trevor's off of him right here. Here's the first bout of contact. Wright lifts off the gas. Does he get a little shot? Yes, he does. Just a little bit from Oswernoth, who kind of pushes him up there. I don't know if Wright is off the gas there or not. But Osbornoth is into the back of the 4 and pushes him into Dustin Cowan, and around goes Cowan into the outside wall in car number 20. Take one more look, and we'll head back up front and get you ready for the restart right about the halfway mark. So the first bit of contact rushes Cowan up the track, and then right, whether he's getting pushed through or just decides to try to push the 20 of Cowan. Cowan gets out of shape, can't save the second one, and noses it into the outside wall. Some left side damage aboard that car. Nothing terribly fatal, I wouldn't think, but certainly some damage he's going to have to negotiate with no fast repair available in the pits. He'll certainly have to negotiate that on pit road. So only a couple cars involved, 3 cars if you want to count the 89 of Osbornoth, as Dustin Cowan continues to sit on pit road. Well, Matt Metler and William H. Scott Jr. get back on the lead lap after this one. Again, Nathan Harper, John Ward, and some others going to benefit pretty nicely from this. Kenny McCullough was on pit road a second ago. James Waring is out fourth rather. Corey Wright will be the 5th place car. So it works out for Harper, Ward, McCullough, and Waring, who are able to get back out front of the field. William H. Scott will make it 15 on the lead lap. Richard Elliott went a lap down after his miscue on pit road. He continues to run, but he is 1 lap down. Dustin Cowan has yet to come off pit road. He will soon be 2 laps down. So it will be 23 to go when we get the green flag. As Nathan Harper continues to lead the way over John Ward, Kenny McCullough, James Waring, Corey Wright. Rest of the top 10, Justin Melikar is 6th, William Haley 7th, Matt Patton in 8th. Mark Vondell 9th, Josh McCullough in 10th. Dylan Jones is 11th, Trevor Osbornoth is 12th, Daniel Eberhardt's 13th, Matt Metler is 14th, William H. Scott Jr. is 15th, and we talked about Richard Elliott, who continues now to come back down pit road. He's 1 lap down. Dustin Cowan is also 1 lap down. He was able to get off pit road before the field got to the exit line. So Cowan and Elliott 1 lap down. Everybody else on the lead lap as we get ready to put the green flag back in the air. The pit stop is done, potentially here. As we are now past halfway, it's likely these drivers are done coming to pit road. I said they came to pit road with about 37 laps to go. They did not. They came to pit road with about 27 laps to go. Same format applies, though, likely getting to the range of the car and then coming to pit road in the caution period is going to help as well. We're now on lap 27, about to go to 28. It's very likely that pit stops are done for the night. Real quick regarding the schedule coming up tomorrow night, right back here on PGR eSports Network, it is a recruitment race for the 2026 PGR 500. And that will be broadcasted tomorrow night by myself and or Austin Green. Potentially both of us are going to be in the booth for that one tomorrow night. This same combo, Gen-7 or Next Gen, whichever one you want to call it, here at Daytona. Then Thursday night, the Intimidator Super Speedway Series is back. We'll give you that race in just a little bit. If we get another caution, we'll tell you about that one. The rest of the schedule of this week and, of course, next week as we gear up for a big week of racing to open up February. Nathan Harper, John Ward on the front row. Let's try this again. Green flag back in the air. 23 laps to go in HGR action from Daytona. Pretty good start both ways. Top 2 cars on the inside. Harper and Waring get going. Top 3 on the outside get going pretty good. John Ward, Kenny McCullough, and Justin Melikar trouble. William Haley, Mark Vondell are in the outside wall. We're going to go right back under caution as that one sparked up right immediately after the green flag. Trouble again. It's Daniel Eberhardt as he gets turned up ahead. He's got no damage. but goes for a slide regardless, and right back under the caution flag we go. Not particularly sure what happens here. Matt Patton goes to split between William Haley and Mark Vondel, and as he does, he is going to get into the right rear of William Haley and get into Mark Vondel as well. They're going to sandwich together, and around goes William Haley's car. They're going to hit the outside wall. No clue how Dylan Jones missed this, and Eberhardt, not particularly sure what happens up ahead to D3. Oh, man, he just loses it. D3 loses it on the apron of turn 1, potentially trying to break for Josh McCullough, who was in front of him. And Eberhardt going to do a weak spin onto the apron, back up onto the racetrack. No damage. Doesn't get hit. Manages to get the car going the right way. And continues on. William Haley not so lucky here. Again, we'll go up top. Show you what Patton was trying to do here. See, Patton leaning out to his right, seeing if the gap's going to be there. And squeezes into the middle between Haley and Vondel, and the space starts to close up on him just a little bit. He gets turned off the bumper of the 3 of Patton and into Vondel, who had nowhere to go. Big damage on Mark Vondel's Napa Chevy. And William Haley ends up in the outside wall. Looking up ahead again at Eberhardt. And yes, he goes to get on the brakes. McCullough is on the brakes harder than I think Eberhardt had planned on, and Eberhardt had to slam on the brakes. It kicks the car out from under him, and he goes for a slide. He rolls back up onto the speedway and manages to get it going back forward, and from there was able to roll away. Show you one more angle of it in real time as Vondel and Haley come together, and then how about this for Daniel Eberhardt? How about this save? Managed to get the car going back the right way, not hit anything. Another car, the wall, no matter what it is. Eberhardt found a way to miss that one. He continues, or rather, Haley continues to sit on pit road. So does Eberhardt. So does William Scott Jr. So does Richard Elliott. So do Dustin Cowan and Mark Vondel. Elliott, Cowan, Vondel are now laps down. 14 remain on the lead lap. So we'll give this another shot. $20 laps to go here from Daytona when we get back green. Rather, 19 laps to go from Daytona when we get back green. The Intimidator Super Speedway Series returns on Thursday night. It will be the Legacy Gen 4 car at Talladega. Another new combination. So another fun one coming up for PGR eSports Premier Series, if you will, on Thursday. Of course, the recruitment race is tomorrow. Friday night, a pair of events taking place, or rather just the Dega Pro Stars and Stripes Shootout Series will be again this Friday night. The Midnight Racing League has their league on Friday nights as well. Next week, the schedule back to normal. Monday night will be the Intimidator Super Speedway Series. Tuesday night, some HGR action. Then Thursday night, There is no Intimidator Super Speedway Series action the week before the 500, as another promotion has a 500 miler that week. A lot of the regulars from Thursday nights will be taking place in that event, so going to take that night off leading in to the second annual PGR 500, again February 2nd through the 8th. Coming up here in 2.5 weeks until race time, 2 weeks until we are heat racing. The deadline is coming up in about 10 days. If you want to sign up, there are still spots available. Head to PGR eSports.com, and there will be a place you can go to sign up and put your name in the hat for a potential $3,000 purse to the winner, a trophy, and the glory, the prestige of being named a crown jewel winner. A PGR eSports competition, one of only 3. Should we get a new winner, potentially one of only 2, should Daniel Falkingham or Malik Ray take home the crown. They have both won crown jewels already. Falkingham last year's PGR 500. Malik Ray back-to-back SummerSlam 499 champion. Falkingham looking to join him in that respect with a back-to-back win in Daytona in a couple weeks. He is locked into the feature already, so step 1 complete. He'll race on Sunday no matter how his heat races go. We'll see if he can defend the crown at Daytona here in just a few weeks' time. A crown to be raced for tonight, though. We got 19 laps to get there. Green flag back in the air. Bottom line goes. Kenny McCullough dips below the apron. He's going to have to come back up. John Ward led him back to the restart zone. And Kenny McCullough jumps in line second. Fuel stops done, over with. And now it's all to race for. As we get down to the end of this one, on the bottom, here comes Kenny McCullough. And all of a sudden, we're going to stack them up 6 deep in each line. Ward, McCullough, drag race down the Daytona Superstretch. Ward will get the better of McCullough on the outside. Harper is behind him. Then it's Waring. Look at this quadruple tandem down to turn 3. Top 3 clear all the way to the inside. Ward, Harper, Waring. Now Jones leads the outside with Corey Wright. Daniel Eberhardt, Matt Mettler, and Matthew Patton in tow. Bottom side behind Waring is McCullough, then Melikar, then Osbornoff, then Josh McCullough. And the stragglers of Richard Elliott and company. Kenny McCullough going to jump out in front of Dylan Jones. He wants to try the outside lane. 18 laps to go at Daytona. It's all to race for. Jones going to try to push on the back of McCullough, thinking 3 wide out back with Patton and Josh McCullough. But they think better of it and jump back down in line. Now Melikar wants a chance up the racetrack. He's going to jump up. Harper's going to jump up, and all of a sudden, here comes the outside. They've got numbers again. Further outside, it's Eberhardt. He's got Josh McCullough with him. Only 2 cars up there going to try to make some hay as Harper leads the field off turn 4 and back down to the start-finish line. 17 more circuits around Daytona. Harper to the lead. Melikar gets turned. Justin Melikar's on the outside while the big one strikes. Right at the exit of the Daytona Tri-Oval. Multiple cars involved. It's half the field that comes crashing to a stop with 17 to go after Justin Melikar got turned out of line, and it's pandemonium from there. Looked for the most part like everybody got back going, but nonetheless, it is the big one. Let's see what happened to get Melikar out of shape. Was it a bad push or was it some netcode from John Ward? So Melikar there second on the outside. Ward is the first car on the inside. Let's see if we can even see it here. No, it's just straight up contact. Ward worked half a lane up the racetrack into Melikar. It gets Melikar out of shape, and then from there, it is just on. McCullough gets turned by Waring. They collect John Ward. Then Waring gets turned to his left. Matt Mettler is up on top of Corey Wright halfway back through the field. Trevor Osbornoff gets hit from behind. That's by Daniel Eberhardt. Dylan Jones gets turned sideways. Josh McCullough gets a piece of this. Richard Elliott trying to stay out of it. I think he's going to nose himself into the outside wall. You see that right there. A number of cars involved in this one. With 17 to go, you wouldn't think that a single car getting turned into the outside wall would cause this much pandemonium, but alas, it has. We're actually going to have to go up to the highest blimp camera we have here and try to sort it out from there. Let's go back to the one with John Ward here first. You're going to see Melikar on the outside, Ward on the inside. You'll see Melikar follow down just a little bit when Harper goes to the bottom, but you'll see Ward work up the speedway as well. You see him there. He's half a lane off the bottom. They come together. He gets into Melikar, and look at this pandemonium from here. Dylan Jones gets in the back of McCullough. McCullough down into Waring. McCullough down into Ward. Waring spins sideways. Eberhardt collects Wright, who collects Mettler. Waring collects Jones. McCullough collects Osbornoth, who got hit from behind by Eberhardt, who spins sideways. Josh McCullough gets a hit of this. And as they scramble, Richard Elliott bounces off the wall as well, then hits Melikar. I think Melikar is actually maybe going to hit the wall again. No, he's going to save it. But a lot happening there in a very short amount of time. You'll see it here. Watch Ward drift up, up, into Melikar. There's no more room, and watch this in the tri-oval. Get a couple onboard looks at this. The first car I saw, I think, was William Haley. See what William Haley was seeing. It's the driver of the 401, William Haley, through the big one. Wow. How impressive is that? For William Haley to be able to miss it. Let's go to one more onboard. We want to go to the onboard camera. Or Matt Patton in the 3. Let's see if he got involved in this at all. Well, he actually does get a piece of it there, so managed just to miss most of the severe stuff, but does get a piece of it there. That's Matt Patton. Number of cars still on pit road. 15 to go at Daytona. Harper, Ward, Haley, Jones, Wright, and Patton is your top 6. Kenny McCullough, Josh McCullough, Justin Melikar, Trevor Osbornoth, James Waring, Daniel Eberhardt, William Scott Jr. all continue to sit on pit road repairing damage. Dustin Cowan is going to likely get his lap back. He'll likely be back on the lead lap. Richard Elliott continues to run one lap down to the leaders, as does Matt Mettler, who is now likely going to be 2 laps down as he sits on pit road. Mark Vondell has called it a night after his incident close to the halfway mark. So we will go back green with what looks to be 13 to go. Nathan Harper, Dylan Jones, William Haley, Corey Wright, and Kenny McCullough Jr. your top 5. Do want to take an opportunity tonight, if I don't get another chance to say it this week, if you're anywhere in the southeastern United States, southern United States, from Texas all the way to the East Coast, and up into the Mid-Atlantic as well, be wary this week. We've got some nasty weather coming into the region here this week, so did want to give everyone well wishes for that. Either snow or ice or a mix of both. Going to affect a lot of us coming up over the next 4 to 5 days, so hope everyone is preparing appropriately for that, and hope everyone makes it through that without much issue, but certainly going to be an unnerving time for many. So hopefully everyone is all safe through that. It's being talked about as a potential historic winter storm coming through the south and east coast of the United States coming up this weekend. That's going to be crazy. So wish everyone the best, and we will get through it. Harper, Jones, McCullough, Haley, Melikar is your top 5. 13 laps to go at Daytona. In high gear racing, 12 on the lead lap. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway. Notably, Mettler and Waring have called it a night. They'll finish 15th and 16th. Elliott Scott still on the track, but 1 lap down. 12 on the lead lap. Harper, Jones, Josh McCullough, Melikar are your top 4 headed into turn 1. Haley was able to get ahead of Kenny McCullough for the 5th spot. Josh McCullough's going immediately. Does Melikar go with him? He's thinking about it, and will dip back down. Now he's going to duck up. Harper has to cover. He'll block it here down the Daytona Superstretch. May not give Harper much option here. Will Josh McCullough? Harper back down to catch his help, and that's because the push is not working in the middle. It's really slow for Josh McCullough, Melikar, and Kenny McCullough. Not sure why they're not going anywhere, but they have yet to get back up to the leaders. They'll get back alongside Dylan Jones. Harper wanted to have a chance to block it, not going to be able to. 3 wide, Eberhardt, Ward up top. They'll bring 1 more car with him. That's Trevor Osbornoff for the Jack Shack. Who was thinking about it. He's leaning. Now he'll lean back middle. He's kind of non-committal right now. McCullough gets all the way to the lead. Top 4 are clear through the center, and McCullough will bring them all to the double yellow line. Now Eberhardt's able to jump down with Ward into the middle, and they're going to try to get their train going. Bad push from Ward to Eberhardt. Almost got Harper out of shape, but everybody keeps it together so far. Got to watch out if you're this second group. This top 4 could break away. Back to Matt Patton, but they start to get a little bit separated now, and that next group starts to re-catch them again when they come back. 11 laps to go. Patton throws a big block on Harper. Not going to work. Kenny McCullough trying to block Nathan Harper. That one does work. Trouble. Josh McCullough gets turned by Justin Melikar. A heck of a save there for Josh McCullough. He'll lose the draft, but he saves his race. He'll join Dustin Cowan off of the lead draft. So we're down to just 10 in the lead draft that could win if this thing continues green. McCullough is the leader. Harper is second. Eberhardt is third. And they're going to jump to the outside. Here comes D3. Eberhardt trouble. Harper turns Kenny McCullough. The bumper hooks continue to be an issue tonight. That's 3 of them now in just a few laps. It's going to allow Eberhardt and Osbornoff to go 1-2 here through the tri-oval. 10 laps to go in high gear racing. Patton to the inside. He's got John Ward with him. Not going to be able to beat that tandem up front of Eberhardt and Osbornoff, working very well together out back. Jones to the inside of Melikar. That is for the 7th position, rather 6th position. As Ward jumps to the outside of Patton, he bails on him. He's going to bring Harper to the outside with him. Corey Wright into the picture now. He'll join the outside lane. Eberhardt continues to lead. Ward turns left. Harper trying to go with him. Squares up the push, and now they're on the bottom. Corey Wright to the outside. Eberhardt's going to have to cover this. Osbornoff's going to have help from behind from Corey Wright, but that is it right now. Dylan Jones coming to join the party. Osbornoff leads that line as Eberhardt leads the race. Back to the start-finish line. 9 laps to go. Eberhardt, Ward, Harper, Patton, Osbornoff, your top 5. Daniel Eberhardt continues to lead the way. He got all the way back up front, started towards the tail end of the field after that last crash. He gets all the way back up front. Now leads ahead of John Ward. Melikar joins the outside. Eberhardt's going to bring that line up to block. Ward doesn't see any interest in wanting to block. He'll go to the inside. Trying to get a push from Harper. Eberhardt's got his pushes from out back from Trevor Osbornoff. 5 on the outside, make it 6 with William Scott Jr. 6 on the inside. Eberhardt back to the lead. 8 laps to go this time by the flag stand. Daniel Eberhardt looking for a big win tonight in HGR. Trevor Osbornoff trying to deny him. They'll all move to the bottom now. Dylan Jones has joined the party. He's all the way up to 4th. But now it settles down here at the very front again. How long will it stay settled? The answer, not long. Here comes Ward. He wants to the outside of Dylan Jones. Not much doing up there right now. Harper's going to drop back down and leave Ward by his lonesome. But now here comes the run. Ward has help from Melikar, Kenny McCullough, and Richard Elliott. Dylan Jones sees it coming. He wants a piece of that. So does Osbornoff, but Osbornoff gets the door slammed in his face by D3. Great block by Eberhardt. He continues to lead. Corey Wright dips to the inside. He's going to lead on the bumper of Harper now on that inside line. Almost tunnel vision for Dylan Jones. Eberhardt can't cover this one as Osbornoff dips to his right. Jones turns left to push his teammate. How about that? Dylan Jones, top to bottom, goes downstairs to push Eberhardt and try to keep him out front. Osbornoff up top has John Ward and Justin Metlikar with him. It's Osbornoff to the point. Jones gets split. Corey Wright splits out Dylan Jones. That's exactly what the top line ordered now. Top three in that line are going to get clear. That's Osbornoff, Ward, and Metlikar. Osbornoff, Ward, Metlikar, top three. Eberhardt trying to find his way as they get sorted back out. Back around D3. Dylan Jones and Kenny McCullough. Corey Wright, kind of the odd man out now as the outside tries to rally once again. A familiar position here for Trevor Osbornoff. He's gone back to the lead, looking to win it for the Czech Shack. Almost trouble. Metlikar makes the save. Eberhardt does not. Daniel Eberhardt gets turned. The caution flag comes out, and that's going to send us to a late restart. How in the world did Daniel Eberhardt make that save? Somehow, some way, Eberhardt keeps that thing straight. We do go to a caution flag with 6 laps to go, but Eberhardt was able to keep his car moving. So what's going to happen back? It's actually going to happen up front first, involving Eberhardt. You'll see the push right here off turn 2. That's this one. As Metlikar tried to get up in front of him, it didn't really work. He's going to actually slap the outside wall. Then Eberhardt gets turned from behind by Kenny McCullough in the stack up and bails down to the inside off the bumper of Corey Wright. And somehow D3 keeps this thing off the wall. I mean, it's pointed at the safer barrier right here. And he's just able to use the brake, use the throttle, muscle it around. And right here, he gets those tires back rolling and is able to keep that thing off the inside safer barrier. A really impressive job there. Or Daniel Eberhardt as he avoids complete disaster on the backstretch. Here at Daytona, gets a caution to boot. Take another couple looks at this rather. So you see right here, actually Metlikar is already up. Eberhardt tries to lean a little bit further and gets into the right rear of Metlikar, and around he goes and up into the wall. And you see the stack up. Kenny McCullough gets into the back of Eberhardt as he's trying to slow down. Corey Wright spins him all the way around. They both end up on the inside of the racetrack. Eberhardt the only one spinning in this one, though. So it's Daniel Eberhardt that has to make a save. We'll take one more look at it here. I'll show you the push from Eberhardt. Got Metlikar out of shape, and then we'll show you, of course, the Eberhardt save at the end of it as well. You see it right there. He gets turned. Around he goes. You think for sure he's destined for the inside wall, but manages to somehow get those wheels turned in the right direction and stays well away from the inside safer barrier. So, job by Eberhardt there to stay away from trouble. And he will get to continue on in this race. Trevor Osbornoff leads it late over John Ward, Kenny McCullough, Dylan Jones, and William Haley. The rest of the cars on the lead lap at this point, only 12 of them total. Corey Wright, Nathan Harper, Josh McCullough, Matt Patton, Justin Metlikar are your top 10. Then Dustin Cowan and D3 Daniel Eberhardt are 11th and 12th. Cars that are laps down, the only two still running, William H. Scott Jr. and Richard Elliott, 13th and 14th, both one lap down. James Waring, Mark Mettler, and Mark Vondell, or rather, James Waring, Matt Mettler, and Mark Vondell have called in an evening early in tonight's race. So we will try this again. It will be an organic green-white checkered attempt, a natural 2 laps to go restart. We do have attempts available to us. There are 3 of them, should we need them. If the field makes it to the white flag right here, we'll finish it under the green flag. If not, we'll re-rack them for our first official overtime. This is, again, a natural green-white checkered. This will not count towards our attempts at overtime. Payouts are as follows: $65 to first, $65 to second, $50 to third, $40 to fourth, and $30 to fifth. May scale just a little bit depending on how many drivers that was based on. So it may scale either up or down just a little bit. With 17 cars in the field tonight. Trevor Osbornoff would love nothing more than to get back to victory lane here for the Jack Shack. It's been a little bit since Osbornoff took the trip to victory lane. John Ward, it feels like the same thing for him in the 92. He'll restart second. Again, kind of feels like both drivers have been on a bit of a drought recently in terms of winning. Kenny McCullough Jr. will restart third with Dylan Jones in fourth. Then it's Corey Wright and William Haley on row 3. The rest of the cars that can still compete in terms of being on the lead lap: Josh McCullough, Nathan Harper, Justin Mellicar, Matthew Patton, Daniel Eberhardt, and Dustin Cowan. Somebody's going to get a win tonight that really could use one. But potentially it's been a little bit since they've gotten one. In fact, for most of the guys in this field, it's been a little bit since they've taken trips to victory lane. We're going to find it out right here. 2 laps to go. A natural green-white checkered in high gear racing from Daytona. Green flag is in the air, and away we go. Osbornoff, good start for the 89. He's got Dylan Jones out with him. Corey Wright got tandemed up pretty well. Also, Ward, McCullough still waiting for the help to come to them on the inside lane. 5 cars deep on the outside. Harper got up as well, make it 6. Down the Daytona Super Stretch for the penultimate time. If they make it back to the start-finish line, we'll finish it right here. Osbornoff, Jones, Wright, Josh McCullough, nobody bailing to the bottom. Top 7 now up top. Dustin Cowan blinks out. He's trying to go to the bottom, but he's blinking. He'll have to try to get back up. Matt Patton, Daniel Eberhardt. Here comes a big run at the outside. Mellicar tries to block. White flag is up. 1 lap to go. Mellicar got on the nose of Matt Patton. Daniel Eberhardt bails on both of them. He goes to the nose of Josh McCullough. Harper goes all the way down. Trouble out back. Justin Mellicar gets turned. Several other cars involved, including Matt Patton in the 3. And they're still crashing back there. I believe Richard Elliott might be involved in that as well. William Haley virtually out of it also. It may be a 5-car race at the front. Back to turn 3 for the final time. We're going to finish it right here. Jones trying to back off, trying to get a run. Eberhardt to the outside, a last-ditch effort for car number 90. Osbornoff's going to lead him off turn 4 for the final time. You got to protect your right rear if you're Osbornoff. Jones is going to have to look left. He's trying. He will not do it. The Shack is rocking. Trevor Osbornoff wins at Daytona in HGR ahead of Dylan Jones, Corey Wright, Josh McCullough, and Daniel Eberhardt. It's a big win. For the Jack Shack driver, Trevor Osbornoff, he is able to get the job done. Tonight from Daytona, we will allow him to burn it down as we customarily do. It's Osbornoff in victory lane from the World Center of Racing. So Zosmernoth continues to burn it down. And we'll go through your finishing results. From the Daytona International Speedway HGR, another crazy one tonight from Daytona. It's Trevor Zosmernoth that gets the victory, a long-awaited one for the driver for the Jack Shack, as he'll get a victory to gain some momentum headed into the race a couple of weeks from now. Dylan Jones, a valiant effort for him tonight a couple of different times. He had to drive from the back to the front. Cannot quite put it together at the end. He goes second. Corey Wright with an impressive run. Started on pole tonight, ran the fastest time in the field, and then put it on the podium in the race. He'll go from third. Josh McCullough finishes in the fourth spot. Daniel Eberhardt in the final payout spot in fifth. Nathan Harper finishes sixth. Kenny McCullough in seventh. Dustin Cowan in eighth. John Ward in ninth. William Haley in 10th. Justin Metlikar was third on the last lap. Got into some trouble there. He'll go 11th. Same with Matt Patton in 12th. William H. Scott Jr. finishes 13th. Richard Elliott 14th. James Waring in 15th. Matt Mettler in 16th. Mark Mondell in the 17th position. We'll be right back from Daytona. We're going to grab your top three for some interviews. Stay with us. We'll continue to watch the ongoing celebration of Trevor Zosmernoth. He wins at Daytona and is continuing to burn this thing down on the front stretch. Well,
thing about this card. Oh, hey.
Trev, sorry to interrupt you. Welcome back to Daytona. We got you in victory lane. You got a copy in the broadcast booth.
Oh, yeah, baby. Big Hick in the booth again, baby. I miss you so much. I haven't heard your voice, your sweet, succulent voice in so long. How's it going, man?
Oh, look, not too bad. And, first of all, the season calls for it. Obviously, a lot of big racing coming up. I got to make sure my skills are at the top of their game. But tonight, you did the same thing. It feels like it's been a little bit since you've been in victory lane, and you get the job done tonight in this car track combo. In this time of year, it's got to feel pretty good, not only to get to victory lane, but also to build yourself some confidence. Take me through just how it feels to win, first off.
It's kind of cool because, I won last night, too, in the Gen 6 car. So, I don't know, man. I love this car. It's weird. I still don't understand it. But I feel like we just have this love relationship where it's just like it gives, and then it just takes away from everybody else and gives it to me. So I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure it out. I feel like everybody's still trying to figure this out, but it just so happened that your boy came out here and did his thing. About time, man, because second place sucks. So I've been dogging up these wins, just trying to get ready for the I don't know, the 10 500s that are coming up eventually here. So this is just more practice than anything.
Well, absolutely. And, look, tonight a little bit smaller field, but obviously a lot of space out there. Take us through the finish. You had Dylan Jones running behind you. What was the defensive strategy there coming off of turn 4 to keep him at bay and put yourself in victory lane?
Corey Wright was the defensive strategy because he was running with us tonight, and he was in third. And I know me and Dylan have been gelling here quite often, so I trusted him more than anybody, and I knew if he was going to make a move, I might have had Corey to come. Well, I for sure was going to have Corey to come pick me up and at least try to get us a dub. But, yeah, man, it was like I've always said, either you ain't going to take this from me. I'm going to wreck us. I'm going to kill us. I don't care. But, yeah, man, I probably would have just raced him clean. Those Dylan Jones. He ain't never did anything wrong to me. So I appreciate him for at least sticking with me there to the end, him and Corey. And if he was going to try something, I definitely would have tried to race him back clean at least because, like I said, he ain't never done nothing to me.
Well, look, obviously the elephant in the room coming up in 2 weeks. You talked about the multiple 500-mile events. Obviously, the granddaddy of them all, shall we say, is the PGR 500. Right. We're 2.5 weeks away. $3,000 in prize money and a trophy. but I think the prestige means just a little bit more than that. Again, only 2 men have ever won a Crown Jewel PGR race. What is the confidence level after a win like this for you headed into that week? Kind of tell us where your mental space is at as we get ready to go racing in the Great American Sim Race.
If there was ever a car for me to try to win a Crown Jewel in, it would probably be this one. I'm gonna just go ahead and put it out there. If I don't win, I ain't gonna say it because I don't know if I'm gonna win or not. There's a lot of big names that are coming in these races, a lot of big competitors, a lot of big teams. So there's definitely going to be a lot of shenanigans and a lot of tough times trying to maneuver around and try to make things happen. It's going to be tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's going to be hard to try to get a Crown Jewel win, but if there's somebody that can do it, man, if there's somebody out here that could probably make something shake, I feel like I'm one of those guys, or at least the handful of those guys that could try to get a Crown Jewel, and I would love it to be the PGR 500 because I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to retire, man. But I need one of these Crown Jewels, and I'm hoping that the PGR 500 is going to be that guy, especially the biggest one of them all. Would you call it the Granddaddy? Oh, baby, I haven't heard that in a long time. Call me Granddaddy Trev if I can get me one of them wins. But we'll have to wait and see. February 7th, if I'm correct. February 7th, that weekend.
February
that
the 8th.
Sunday,
But yeah,
February,
it is that
February
weekend.
8th. And yeah, man, we're just gonna hope and pray we make it through the heats and maybe worst case LCQs. But yeah, man, I'm very confident. Jack Shack's always rocking, baby. Jack Shack's coming out. We got a lot of hitters out here that's gonna make something happen, and a lot of key elements that we've been working on. So we'll just have to see. Very confident, but I mean, like I said, once we get there, we'll see. We just have to take it one step at a time.
Well, took a good step forward tonight, a trip to victory lane at Daytona for you in high gear racing. So before we let you go and enjoy the victory, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Oh man, I gotta thank Mr. James Warren for putting this on. Great racing here tonight. The boys were really beating and banging. I hope you had as much fun in the booth than we did down here on track. Of course, man, Dawson, your sweet succulent voice. We can't miss it here at PGR eSports with Dawson Wise, man. That voice, we love to hear it. Old Big Hit in the booth tonight, getting those reps in. And shout out to the Jack Shack here tonight. That Corey and Justin was running with tonight. We were up there, up front, almost all race, working almost seamlessly together. And yeah, man, we can't wait for this next one. And we'll see what happens, baby. Jack Shack's always rocking. And oh, shout out Dylan Jones for sticking with me. I appreciate that. And we'll see what happens, man.
Well, Trev, appreciate you talking to me here for a second. Congratulations on the victory tonight. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
Well, now, after talking to our winner, Trevor Osmond, we're now here with our second place driver, Dylan Jones. Dylan, it's Dawson in the booth. You got a copy?
Sure do.
Well, an interesting one tonight from Daytona. Again, a car track combo you guys are going to be awfully familiar with over the next few weeks. Tonight doesn't quite go your way for the win. Still a good night for you, though. We're up front a number of laps in tonight's race. Coming off turn 4, it just doesn't shake for you. Anything you could have done differently there to get one spot better and put yourself in victory lane?
I mean, maybe attempt to make a move at all, but honestly, I felt like the momentum was going to go with me. I wasn't sure who was working with who at the end of that race, and these cars aren't really, you don't get a big side draft like some of the other cars on here, so I didn't think if I got a run, it would even go anywhere. So I was just going to take my money where I was and go home.
Well, look, obviously, you know, the elephant in the room is the 500-mile events coming up. We heard Trev talking about them just a moment ago. Obviously, the chief among them is the PGR 500. Did you learn anything tonight, you know, in this race that you can take into those races during the week here in a couple weeks? Did you learn maybe about anybody you can work with potentially? Just kind of take me through, you know, anything you could take from tonight and these kind of lead-up races that you'll use when we come to Daytona here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the small fields with this are going to be a little different than when we get 40 plus or whatever we're going to be running in there. The runs are kind of lacking in these smaller fields. So, you know, you kind of figure out what kind of works, but I think the big race is going to be a whole different ball game.
Well, obviously, now as we get closer to that race, we are under 2 weeks away from heat races beginning. What is your confidence level at that you could be the one hoisting the trophy and capturing $3,000 here in a couple weeks?
I don't know. We'll put her at about 3%. It's always going to be difficult, and just making it to the show, honestly, is going to be a goal for just to make it in the show, pretty much, and then whatever happens, happens. But you never know.
Well, second place for you tonight in high gear racing, a good run for you and some winnings to go along with it. So before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
I'll give a shout out to you, Dawson, for putting on the broadcast. I'm sure it's going to be exciting to watch.
Well, appreciate you for talking to me for a second. Congratulations tonight on the second place effort. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We will talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
Second place finisher Dylan Jones comes home with a podium finish tonight in Daytona as we start to wrap things up here from High Gear Racing. Trevor Osmernoth captures the victory tonight from the Daytona International Speedway. And what was an exciting one here as we prep for multiple 500-mile events. These guys continue to get reps in, not only for the PGR 500, but for other 500-mile events as well. These guys continue to use every race as a rep tonight. It's Trevor Osmernoth that comes out on top of this one from Daytona. That's going to just about do it for us here on PGR eSports. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and tuning in for this one from Daytona International Speedway. Tune in tomorrow night for the PGR eSports recruitment race for the PGR 500 as we get you ready for the Great American Sim Race on February the 8th, February 2nd through the 8th. The event is coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun. Join us for all of the events leading up to that race here in a couple of weeks. Again, we are 13 days from heat races beginning. This has been a year in the making. Everything comes down to the next week and a half as we make final preparations with cars on track on the high banks of Daytona. Thanks again so much for watching with me tonight. My name is Dawson Wise. You've been watching PGR eSports coverage of High Gear Racing. Congratulations to Trevor Osmernoth and the Jack Shack on the win in tonight's event. We will see it tomorrow night for recruitment race action, and then Thursday for the Intimidator Super Speedway Series returning to Talladega once again. Thanks so much for watching again. Until then, everybody be safe this weekend. But until then, have a great